2.
Meet Dave of Delusions of Grandeur, actor, producer, and director of films like Tales of the Forgotten. He has come to assemble a team of freaks, geeks, and even worse, film nerds, to discuss films ranging from mainstream to downright crazy. There is Tammy, car enthusiast, and Dave's fiance, Dustin, reptile expert and overall horror collector, Jake, environmentalist and fine art film critic, and finally Brandon, a therapist with a love of film that can only be seen as insanity. Together under Dave's leadership, they are inside movies galore. Enjoy the show. Enjoy the show.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to another exciting film journey here on Delusions of Grandeur. I am one of your hosts, but I'm also your host for today because this was my choice for this week. How are y'all doing today?
Good.
So, the film that I have chosen was filmed back in 2003. It was directed by John Woo. It was based on a short story by Philip K. Dick, which, if you know anything about Philip K. Dick, we've covered The Minority Report on here, which was based on a short story by him. But also, I believe Total Recall was also written by him. So, we've covered a couple of films that have been made from some of his work, and I figured we'd cover this particular one. I guess the other writer was Dean Georgaris. The film stars Ben Affleck, Aaron Eckhart, Uma Thurman, and Michael C. Hall, which, if anyone knows anything about Michael C. Hall, he became Dexter. Which do you know about Dexter, Boris?
I didn't watch the show, but I did hear about it, and I do know basically what it's about.
Yeah, he's basically a serial killer, and you can hear all of his thoughts while he's killing people. So it's pretty fucking sweet. Even though I know technically serial killers are bad, but it's pretty darn good. And we got Paul Giamatti. We got Paul Giamatti showing up in this this as well. So, but that being said, let's see what IMDb says. Oh, and we got Colm Feore in here as one of the bad guys. And I know him to be Andre Lenoge in Stephen King's Storm of the Century, which was a mini series. He was a guy who came to a snowy Alaska town and demanded on a snowed in evening demanded to have the town's children be with him, and he gave the town a choice to choose one of them to be like his apprentice, and he said biblical things in there that uh, he said, "My name is Legion, for we are many,"
Ah,
and he made the "I'm a little teacup, short and stout." That whole song he made creepy throughout the whole thing. But in any case, sorry I had to mention that that it to me it was a very good miniseries. If you haven't checked it out, but in any case, moving back into first impressions. Oh wait, I do have to say what the movie is about, according to IMDb, don't I? And it's very vague. A technical wizard learns that his memory has been erased.
yeah, that's very vague.
So, that being said, um, let's go around the room and see what our viewer our my fellow viewers have to say about this film. At least at first. Tammy, was this a first time watch for you?
Yes. Come on. Sorry about that. Diego was in my face. uh, yeah, well, I believe it was. I mean, I don't remember seeing this before. So I thought it was pretty cool. It was definitely interesting and action and gripping and trying to figure out what all they're erasing and why, and and like all that good stuff. And then trying to think of, like you asked me, would I do it? It's like, I told you it depended on what they were going to erase.
Yeah. I mean, apparently this is definitely set in the future. They don't exactly say what time in the future, but
I
it
mean,
is
if
set in
they
the future.
if they could erase a lot of the stuff from when I was born till I was 12 years old, I'd be all for it.
Honestly, as soon as someone would demand me to have my own memories erased, I would find that very fishy.
Well,
Well,
if
his stuff that was most of the stuff that they were erasing on him though was uh, technology type stuff that he that he went and I guess you know got from people that they wanted, you know. But I'm just saying,
Yeah.
if I got if somebody asked me to do it and they'd pay me, it would be like, well, I don't know what's in my brain that you'd really want, but I can tell you what's in my brain that I don't want.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Like if you
well,
want to
yeah,
pay me,
if you
if you
could
want
tell
to
them
pay me,
to take some of those painful memories away, and they had the ability to do that, and you'd be pain free. That'd be cool,
yeah.
Yes.
as
But I
long as
mean,
they didn't explode my brain.
don't they erase memories of whole parts of the person's life when the person was doing whatever technological thing? Like, don't they also end up forgetting what was happening in their personal life in the meantime, from what I understood?
No, at least not the way that they were originally erasing his at that point in time for that particular job that he was doing in the very beginning, which I'm sure we'll get into a little bit more detail is they were erasing just 3 months of his life.
Yeah, his whole life, though. It wasn't, they didn't just take the information they wanted. They took like the whole 3 months where it was like, he came in on
Yeah,
the,
like he
he
forgot
came in
even
on
the.
this date and he left on that date. And the last thing he remembered is what when he came in on this date.
Yep.
So that I wouldn't be cool with, that you're gonna erase like every single thing that happened in the last 3 months. Really? What happens if there was something cool in there?
Yeah,
Yep.
like what about the time spent with friends and family?
Well, I imagine if he were on this kind of a job, he wouldn't be like associating with his family at all during the whole, so that shit wouldn't happen. Which is why he made sure that whoever was in his life was telling him exactly what he missed. You know, in letters or postcards or whatnot. So, but in any case,
Yeah.
Boris, was this a first time watch for you?
Oh yes, it was. Uh, I found it pretty interesting. There was a decent combination of mystery and action to make it suspenseful and interesting enough to watch.
Okay,
It's
and there were definitely some spoodhouse.
yeah, you already know what I like, huh?
So, but in any case, no, I believe I had actually seen this one actually in the theater. Um, I believe my mentor at the time, it took me to a lot of movies. Over time, we would see a lot of like these types of movies. I believe I saw Minority Report the same way. So um, I believe I saw this in the theater, and then later I ended up picking it up. I believe I had actually picked it up from Blockbuster when they were having those 4 for 20 sales. So and glad that I have it within my collection. Um, I enjoy films like this where there's a certain amount of intrigue. It's kind of a sci-fi thriller. Um, it,
Yes.
it ends up being like kind of like okay, now they erased his memory, and now he's got to run for his life. Uh, but you know, I like the fact that this made you think, and um, it made him think too. Like as far as he knew. I mean, he's the first thing he did was check his account, and as far as he knew, he'd been paid like quite a little bit of a sum. He was now a 92 millionaire. You know, but when he went to go and cash it out, he found out differently.
Yeah.
So, but anyways,
In some
so
ways, it's a little bit like the Total Recall because what he thought was happening wasn't really happening, but yet he had the. We're going to get into it about his mindset, though. About like this whole thing.
and
You know,
because and
kind of set
because this
set things up for himself, just like in Total Recall.
well, yeah,
Yeah.
but also it's a little bit like Minority Report because that had to do with pre-crime and murders that had not happened yet. So this had to do with a machine that evidently could tell the future a little bit. We'll find that out later. You'll find that out later as you go. But apparently, he saw his future and what was going to happen from it. So he ended up setting himself up to remember everything, but just by inanimate objects, you know, things that you wouldn't think would help him out, but they did. And it's like he knew exactly when and where he would be at exactly this point in time that he would.
Which kind of makes me wonder why didn't he just write himself a letter explaining everything?
That would defeat the purpose, and what fun one would that have been? I like the fact that he did it this way, because that then spontaneously he figured it out on the go, you know.
Well,
So
yeah, but I don't know. I don't see the logic. Like if that happened in real life, if you were in his situation, what would you do?
would a letter necessarily knock your memory to remember? You know, I don't think so. I don't think a simple letter would just jog his fucking memory. They erased it. You know, they erased his memory, so he had to come up with a way that he could remember everything and why he did it. You know, I see the logic because a simple letter wouldn't do it. You know,
Interesting.
at least I don't think so. For all intents and purposes, why would he think that he wrote the letter to begin with if he had written a letter to himself?
Uh, he would recognize his handwriting.
How? If he didn't
He
remember it?
would What?
How if he didn't remember it?
Well, I don't know. When you write something with your hand, don't you recognize the shape of the letters, of the shape of the text you wrote with your hand? You,
I don't know that I would be able to. I mean, I guess I know my handwriting enough to know that it's pretty fucking crooked, and I know that my
uh,
handwriting isn't the best. Uh, but would I recognize it in a letter right the fuck away? No. It's not my job to be that kind of person, you know. And it's not something that somebody does on a regular, you know. Hmm. So, I mean, if you wrote something, someone erased your memory, would you be able to recognize your handwriting?
well, they erased the last 3 years of his life. I don't think why handwriting changed that much
According
in
to
3 years.
IMDb, they erased his entire memory.
Uh, I don't know. I understood it was only 3 years.
Well, that's what they told him, but we don't know whether they entirely erased his entire memory or not,
Hmm.
because it was something different that they were doing. At least when dude was going in and popping his memory bubbles, at least he knew exactly which memory they were popping. They were popping. This thing could have erased his entire memory, and we would have never known. And The only reason he was able to actually remember anything thing was each of those items, he was remembering things as he went. So I imagine a lot of his other memory pockets were opening up. So, but we assume that the last 3 years were erased. But I according to IMDb, this is what the darn thing says. A technical wizard learns that his memory has been erased. What does that tell you? Does
But
that say
he
3
did
years?
remember things because he remembered to call the guy we saw in the first part, his friend that was doing that was erasing just the bubbles. He remembered him. He remembered how to call him.
Yeah, which makes me think that and lean towards that maybe it was just the 3 years. But according to IMDb, that says erased his memory. Doesn't say 3 years. You know, you know what I mean. So, but anyways, he in the very beginning we in the very beginning he plays a guy who is this technical wizard, and he takes this computer that has come out with this 3D image that apparently the image itself um is poking out of this the screen. He takes that image and he goes and works on it for a couple of months and finds a way to make it even more 3D than it was. It takes the whole darn thing apart and figures out how to make it into a whole fucking hologram and shows it to them. And that's pretty much the job that he had. Oh, and I guess the lead chick kind of screwed him. So when they were erasing his memory, they were all like uh, making fun of her because she screwed him, and she was like, "So what?" But they erased his memory, and he got paid for that job. But then I think he went to a party, met the girl, met the woman that he was to fall in love with on his next job.
Yes.
And she told him about second chances, or asked him if he believed in second chances. And I guess he came out all somewhat creepy to her because he was like, you know what, let's just get out of here. I just figured let's dispense with all the suspense, and we know that there's something here. Why don't we, leave from here and find a place to figure shit out? And that's when he was called into his supposed boss that he's been kind of going to for these jobs, and he tells him that this job is going to be more important. It's going to be longer, and but it's going to be a much better payout in the end.
And this guy also is supposed to be his friend.
Correct. And so when he gets to this place, he meets the girl that he met at the dinner. He is also um, all of his stuff that he came with was taken from him. And we learn that he's going to be moving into the neighborhood shortly, and then all of a sudden you see him sitting in the chair, and he's being told that he's done and that he's completed what he came there to do, and he's let go, and he goes back home, and he looks at
Well,
his account.
before that, um, they never injected him with anything, so he was really confused when he saw that they were going to inject him with something, and that this is how things were going to be controlled. So that was something that was very different, and he seemed a little uneasy about that.
Correct, because it was something different that hadn't been done before. And I guess his friend who originally did most of the erasing had told him not to take the job at all.
Well,
But he took it, and well, he gets home and sees the 92 million whatever in his account, and so he calls the place where this money is supposed to be, and he ends up going there and finds out that he no longer has the money there. In fact, he supposedly took the money out, and not only that, but his personal effects, they're different. It's not the stuff that he came in with, and he knows it. So at first he's like,
he
"What?"
supposedly a couple weeks beforehand had taken the money and given it away or assigned it somewhere or something like that. And he's like,
Yeah,
I
and
never would have done that.
correct.
Why would I have done that? And they're trying to show him the signature, and that's one thing I caught in it. The signature that they were showing him for the money was not the same as the signature. If you saw him write his signature on the paper giving him like permission to do this, the two signatures were totally different. His actual signature is more flamboyant or extravagant or whatever compared to
Yeah,
the signature on that paper about the money. The signature that's on that paper about the money was just like his first initial and last name, and it was just a real plain Jane, like I guess you might want to say signature. Nothing fancy about it or whatever. Not compared to how he normally signs things. Because when he signed that permission paper, and you watched him sign it, he's like, you know. I mean, his signature looked really cool. It was real wow, wowie, you know. And the one on that paper was just real, like anybody could have done it type of thing. You know.
the other thing I wanted to say, this is actor wise, and Boris, this question is to you. So Aaron Eckhart, who played the blonde boss dude, and the guy who played the main actor here, which is Ben Affleck. They both starred in 2 consecutive terms of a comic book franchise. What comic book franchise was that, and which directors were they directed under?
uh, I'm not sure, but I'm guessing it has something to do with Batman.
It does.
Justice League.
Well, Justice League, Batman versus Superman, and Zack Snyder's Justice League.
Yeah, I thought it might be about that.
But the Batman that was in those three, that was Zack Snyder's, under Zack Snyder's direction. That was Ben Affleck. In Christopher Nolan's Batman, was Aaron Eckhart, and he played Harvey Two-Face.
Ah,
So I thought that was kind of interesting that two consecutive Batman actors were in the same film.
yes.
So, but in any case, he goes home, and let's see what his name is in here. I keep forgetting what his name was in here. So
Ben
it's
Affleck's name.
Jennings was his
Yeah,
last name.
Michael
But
Jennings.
yep, Michael Jennings. So he goes back home and realizes that his door has been unlocked, and he realizes that something is definitely different. Um, and that's when the police end up storming his place and arresting him. And that's where we get Michael C. Hall's character. He's one of the agents that arrests him, and also helps interrogate him.
And these aren't just your normal police. These are federal police, and this is big time because
Well,
they're
yeah, this is
of,
like
of
ICE.
yeah, they're accusing him of espionage.
Correct. Because apparently there was a scientist that supposedly was working on a laser of some kind, and um, he'd been turned down by the government for doing this experiment, but someone else took up and started funding the research for it. And apparently it had something to do with creating a machine that had something to do with the future. And he finds that out as he goes. But they're already like trying to gun for him because they think he knows everything. You know, what they don't know is that his mind has been erased. And they assumed that his mind was going to be erased, so they thought that maybe they could actually extract some of that information. Well, they were unable to. Well, it just so happens that one of the items in his envelope bag was a pack of smokes, and I guess they decided that they were going to smoke inside an alarmed room, inside that alarmed room, which as soon as they realized that the smoke was going to ignite the alarm, that's when the alarm happened. And what happens after an alarm happens? Normally, a secondary system comes in hand and shuts down the place and smokes the place up enough for him to escape. So, what does he do after he escapes, Boris?
After he escapes, damn, let me think. Isn't that when oh yeah, he calls that cafe where he was supposed to meet up with Rachel, right?
Well, he finds a message written in the mirror Well, actually, no. Yeah, he does. He does when he gets back because he finds a key to a hotel, a thing to a hotel. And when he looks at all the stuff that he has, he takes this matchbook of matches that he finds, and apparently it was painted over, and on it has the Cafe Michelle. So he calls around to the Cafe Michelle and sees if he has any reservations there, and yes, he does. So he goes to the cafe and waits as he should. So, and around that time is when that friend of his goes to that female that he fell in love with and told him that asked and she asked her if she's seen Michael at all, and she said that she hasn't seen him since the day before, and he tells her that he was let go, that he's finished his job, that they erased his memories, and he's gone. And she's like, how can that be? He didn't never tell me. So she evidently played it cool, but apparently he had written something in the mirror for her to meet her at this Cafe Michelle. So she did her best at uh, trying to get out of the place and meet up with him. But while this was happening, they were watching everything that she was doing on camera. And when they realized that she was actually speaking towards a certain direction while she was out, they sent all their guys in to investigate. Well, they found nothing, but then while dude was looking, he saw her looking in that certain direction. He was like, "Look ahead." And he's like, "There's a mirror." And then the dude was like, "Oh." So he read the message, and then they sent an agent or someone who worked for them out ahead to make her look like the girl that he might have fallen in love with.
Yeah, but I must admit that part kind of confused me. Like, if they knew the real Rachel was on the way, how did they expect that not to go wrong? Like,
Well, they thought that they could count on uh, his not remembering anything. They thought that
yeah, but if the real Rachel was on the way, there would be two of them in the end. How, there were. How did they not know that?
well, they didn't know that he would be smarter than them and actually ask whether she knew his favorite baseball team. But he himself, Michael, didn't remember Rachel at all at that moment. So they were counting on that fact. The fact that
Yeah,
that
but
he didn't and he kind of almost believed her, this chick.
yes, I do understand that, but even if he hadn't gotten suspicious about her, what would have happened when the real Rachel would have entered the cafe? Then he would see there are two of them.
True, and thankfully she did.
So how come the bad guys didn't do anything to prevent the real Rachel from getting there?
Because she probably didn't know that they had given that she had given them the slip.
I'm sorry, who gave what to whom?
Didn't you see that she gave the one agent guy the slip? which means she fooled him into thinking that she was doing one thing while she ran to the roof and got out of there.
Uh,
That's what it means when someone gives them the slip. When they use misdirection to.
uh, 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 I, I don't know. I didn't catch up on that.
Well, yeah, she went onwards and upwards and onto the roof, and she escaped, and they didn't realize that she did.
Huh.
They weren't watching what she was doing. They just assumed that their agent that they sent onwards to meet up with him would be successful.
Huh.
So, which she was not. And the police were actually still following him because they want in on this machine or Michael, because they believe that he knows more than he is letting on. Regardless, so what happens next, Tammy?
That
Well,
is.
don't they escape together? Because
Yes, they do.
they think that they're looking for a BMW, and she realizes no, it's not a BMW, it's a motorcycle,
Yep.
and then that creates one hell of a chase, man.
Yes, it does.
Lots of spadals in that chase.
Oh yeah, lots of spoodles.
Yep. So they're chased, and I do believe that they are able to make cars run into things and go through tunnels, and there's also a moment where he does actually call his friend, and he ends up going and having his friend shut down the lights so that he can get. And I think he runs and gets onto an underground train transit system, and it looks like he actually is able to hack into the system and change uh, the wiring with a paperclip, which is one of the things that is in his thing. So um, there.
It's amazing how all these insignificant objects, or they look insignificant, end up being things. Because he kept saying, "What would be hairspray before?" Well, when the guy's chasing him, he uses the lighter and the hairspray to create a torch.
Mhm.
Uses the paper clip to rearrange that thing. He gives the key to his friend to get into the room to shut down the lights.
Mhm.
When they're being shot at. He thinks all these things are insignificant. And they all have a purpose. And he is definitely holding on to everything that's in that envelope, because one by one, everything in that envelope that doesn't look like it's for anything ends up being for something.
Yeah, isn't that a bit like the images on the videotape in the ring? Well, at first nothing seemingly makes sense, but in the end, well, most of it ends up making sense.
Well, in any case, a lot of these things help him to get to where he is. Like there's a bullet that he ends up sticking on one of those machines that each time they look into the future, it pumps these gas tanks or whatever, and that evidently power the machine or whatnot, and so he uh, sticks the bullet on one of those so that it can explode. There's a coin that he had that he stuck inside the mechanism of the door that went to the machine in order to keep them out. You know, there are just all these the crossword puzzle, which told him exactly where he had um, stuck and jammed the machine to begin with, to make sure that they weren't going to be using the machine until he got there. It's just one thing after the next, that each one of these things that he sent to himself or let himself have had something to do with the next, including the last a little piece, which was after everything went down, finding where they put the winning lottery ticket, which was those numbers on that what looked like it was a Chinese, shall I say,
It was a
fortune.
fortune cookie thing.
Yeah, it
And
was a
what it
fortune
said on
cookie
the other,
message.
yeah, what it said, about something, things may not always be where you can see them or something.
Yeah, if something
But
like if
what I
you
thought
came
was
to
one of his best clues, though, I thought was the stamp.
Yeah, the stamp. Well, at the very beginning, when when he was told about or shown the envelope to begin with, they told him, "Hey, you put way too many stamps on this." You know, and if he looked back at the the index of what he actually put in the envelope, and it was like 12 items.
It was
That
it was supposed to be 20 items, and there was only 19 there.
correct. So he was trying to figure out what it was, and then he thought, like, maybe it was the stamp. So he looks at the stamp, and then he took it across the street because the school was actually named Albert Einstein School, which was the face of the stamp on the stamp. So he took it over there to look at under a microscope, and holy cow, there were like 5 newspaper clippings of front pages that were newspapers of the future.
And that final clipping made him realize why he had done all this, and that he needed to stop this machine from making the future happen, because that final clipping showed what was going to happen.
Correct. And
yes,
the fact that this future thing was gonna cause some pretty fucking badass shit to happen is why he wants to go back and fix the things so that shit doesn't happen. But I don't think that they entirely do that. That they end up coming up with a plan to destroy the machine. And honestly, It wasn't a plan that they came up with on the spot. It was already planned out. He was given everything that there to, in fact, do that. In fact, he
Well,
kept
he
seeing it.
realizes what the bullet is for.
Correct.
That bullet is what ends up destroying everything.
And it turns out that it's not himself that is actually taking the bullet. It's his friend who actually takes the bullet and dies too.
His
So
supposed friend,
his supposed
Some
friend.
friend is he.
But originally, when he was looking at the future, he was seeing himself die.
Right.
Yes.
But
I think it's just so cool because and then like you said, the very end, at the end, he had seen those lottery numbers come up on TV, and realized that they were the same that was on that little thing for the fortune cookie, and he
mhm,
held on to the thing for the fortune cookie, wondering what this was gonna, be in the end, and here's the ticket underneath the birdies.
mhm.
Oh. And speaking of which, we haven't commented on how cute those birds are.
Yeah, those birds are cute.
Yes.
Eh,
Those birds are cute. But
All
I
in all,
do
I think it's really cool. I mean, if you emptied an envelope out, like, with all that stuff, you'd probably be sitting there looking at it like, what the hell is this shit?
right.
Which is
Most
basically what he
definitely.
thought at the beginning, too.
And the guy that wiped his memory, I like what happens to him too, because he also tries to see what happens in the future, and what he sees is his death
Well, yeah,
before it
because
happens.
that's about the time that the big spit out happens.
Oh, spoon out indeed.
There was a lot of big split outs at the end, but there was a major one that just destroyed everything.
Mm-hmm.
But
Absolutely.
it's really neat though. I mean, I got to give credit to whoever thought of this movie to actually think of a way to put all of these seemingly, non, no purpose for these things that were in the envelope. How to make this all happen, and how all these little insignificant things turned out to be very significant in their own way, but you never would have thought of that.
Well, no,
But you see how they all fit in perfectly.
right?
Yes.
So,
Absolutely.
and let's see, I do like the action in the film. I do like the drama. I do like how fast paced it is.
I like it that it
There's
kind of makes you think along with him.
correct,
Definitely yes.
especially since as far as we're concerned, they erased his memory where he doesn't remember a damn thing, you know, and he's got to figure it out all by these pieces, and it's kind of a puzzle. So, well, I guess, is there anything else that I have mentioned that I mean, it is pretty straightforward, you know. There's not a whole
Pretty
lot
much.
more that I could especially explain away, you know.
Oh yeah.
But okay, I guess we're on to production. So, what did y'all think about production?
Well,
I thought
uh,
production was really good because it was fast paced, but it made you think along with him, and it just the whole puzzle thing and the whole idea of it and everything. I just thought it was really neat, you know. So, um, I think the background and everything looked um, like technology. It looked like it was probably future technology and everything. So the whole idea and everything, I think it was really neat. So
Okay. What about you, Boris?
Oh, I also think it was pretty good. Yeah, as Stanley says, they really did do a good job creating a puzzle in a way at the beginning that progressively gets solved throughout the movie. I do like that aspect. And of course, I like all the spud outs, the explosions and stuff. And oh yeah, that effect at the beginning with the tiny hologram girl that can come out of a screen, that was also really brilliant. I I kind of wish that was more plot relevant than it was.
Oh, the hologram.
Yeah,
Yeah, I thought that was pretty cool. But you're never gonna have a better Princess Leia if anyone ever remade Star Wars. So, but in any case, um, I like the production. I thought that it was unique to have all these different like objects be the guide in a sense to figure out where the fuck what happened to his memory and why, you know. Um, and at the end of every thing, I thought it was really fucking cool how they set it up. I don't know if it was in the original short story that way, but damned if they didn't perfect it, you know. So I feel
yeah,
like this was a very good a movie. It made you think, made you follow along with him as a person, and it's pretty fucking cool. I thought it had enough mystery and intrigue and whatnot. So yeah, it has my vote for it. So, but in any case, let us move forward into the music. Did anyone like the music at all?
well, there was some background music that sounded decent, but nothing that really caught my ear.
me neither, because I was more interested in watching what was going on and trying to figure all the stuff out with you. So I wasn't really paying attention to the background music.
Okay, well, the music was put together by the composer John Powell, and he is known for composing the music behind Wicked and How to Train Your Dragon 2 and
Ah,
Happy Feet and Solo: A Star Wars story. And he was the composer behind the How to Train Your Dragon live action. So, guess it was uh, guess they did the remake of the Call of the he composed behind the Call of the Wild remake. He composed behind Ferdinand, Jason Bourne, Pan, Rio 1 and 2, the Kung Fu Panda movies, Ice Age Continental Drift, The Lorax,
I've seen a lot of these movies.
Mars Needs Moms, a movie called Night and Day, Fair Game, Green Zone, Ice Age: Dawn of the Dinosaurs, the video game, The Lord of the Rings Conquest,
That's where
Bolt.
Diego got his name, is from Ice Age.
He composed behind Hancock, The Bourne Conspiracy, Horton Hears a Who, P.S. I Love You, The Bourne Ultimatum, X-Men Last Stand, United 93, Ice Age: The Meltdown, Mr. and Mrs. Smith, Be Cool, Elfie, the remake, Bourne Supremacy, and Mr. 3000, mostly after Paycheck. But before he did Paycheck, he composed for Giggly, The Italian Job, Agent Cody Banks, 2 Weeks Notice, The Adventures of Pluto Nash, Drumline, The Bourne Identity, I Am Sam. He composed behind Shrek, Evolution, Rat Race, Just Visiting, Chicken Run, The Road to El Dorado, Chill Factor, Forces of Nature, Ants, with Friends Like
Composed
These,
a lot of stuff that's very familiar, you know?
Face Off
You know
was
what I
one of
mean?
his. Yeah, he did. And Face Off was the first one, first full length feature that he composed behind. So, but yeah, he's composed behind a lot, and he continues to be composing behind a lot. So, including the last movie we saw in the theater, which was How to Train Your Dragon, the live action. So, but in any case, now we're going into favorite scenes and our favorite characters. So, shall I start with you, Tammy?
I guess I'd say Michael was my favorite character.
Okay.
You know, he's just, that poor guy. I can't say that I really admire his choice of what he wants to do for a living, but what ends up happening to him and how he comes back from it and everything and what he does to basically fix everything without knowing that he's fixing everything,
Well, yeah, they want to
is
take him off the map.
is really is really cool. I mean, and one of my favorite scenes is that chase is just something else, man. That is wicked.
Yeah.
I like
Where
that,
is he now?
and yeah, of course, I like the big spit out at the end too. Got it, you know. Yeah, and I do like that very very ending thing when they find the lottery ticket underneath the birdies.
Yeah, it's kind of cute.
Yes.
Alrighty, Boris, you're up. Favorite character and our favorite scene or scenes.
Well, actually, I also like Michael has the best character and favorite scene. Probably also the chase with all the spoodaus. But I did also like the scenes with the birds because they were cute. And also that beginning with the hologram girl that may or may not have also been an AI entity, which makes it even more interesting.
Oh, you just want to see what's underneath the silk. That's all. But in any case, is that it then?
Oh, I think so.
Okay. And me, yeah, I'm gonna have to go with Michael too. I mean, they pretty much almost smite him off the map, and he's able to keep on his feet long enough to figure out what he set up for himself, since he saw that fucking terrible future, and he's able to stop quite a lot, and prevent this machine from being able to do what it does. And I like this kind of thing, it's and I did like the chase scene. That was pretty fucking great. Watching most of the people that were trying to, and the fact that he was trying to elude the police too. I think that that's kind of like this. That's kind of I like movies like this where I don't know. I feel like all the factions that are out there, like the police or whatever organization is trying to gun him down, they're all against him for some reason, and the main cops end up like letting his ass go at the end of it all, So the fact that what?
Well, I guess that the FBI just saw that he was working with the bad guys. They probably didn't know that he had turned against them.
Probably not, but that one cop said that he must have died along with them all, So, but we see them working at a greenhouse flower thing at the end of everything, and I think it's kind of unique that that they put the lottery ticket underneath the two things that brought and signified their kind of love between each other. So
Yes.
I thought that was cool. But at the end of everything, did anyone else have anything else to add?
Who? I don't think so. Nothing more is coming to my mind.
Alrighty then. Well, hopefully you ladies and gentlemen have enjoyed this conversation. If you haven't seen the movie, go out and see it. And then come back and tell us what you thought of this movie and what you thought of our discussion. And I guess we'll see you next time. Let us know down in the comments what you thought and everything. I believe it is. Is it your turn, Boris?
Oh
I
yeah,
think
I
so.
think so.
I guess it is your turn. So do you have a suggestion to put forward?
Oh, I think I will go with this horror movie called Cruel Peter.
What's it called?
Cruel Peter from 2015, if I'm not wrong.
How do you spell it?
Uh, C,
Okay, so cruel, as in cruel.
CR. Yeah, Cruel.
Cruel
And the
Peter.
second word is Peter.
Peter.
Yeah, like, yes.
Okay, it's on Tubi. So, those of you who don't know the movie, it is on Tubi to watch for free. So I guess we'll be watching that movie. So come back and enjoy another exciting discussion here on Delusions of Grandeur. Everyone, say good night.
Good night.
Good night, everyone.
Septum Sin versus the world. It's that place for all the boys and girls. You'll feel real safe, you'll feel real warm. It's a cozy place to ride out the storm. Septum Sin. Septum Sin and his best boy Jake see the trends that scare us every day. Physical media is going to the side.